Ulonga tabati yada to ye ko madaifa. Inu to ye ko jeun. Love bi pa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Songo Eshu, Ogun Oya Osun. Kini ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o. Ó jẹ́ lọ́jà.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Gbemi, and today we're joined by, once again, the H.P.S. Empress Yamaya Faye. Welcome, peace and blessings. Appreciate you for joining us again.
Peace and blessings to you too, Mr. Orisha. And the tribe.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So,
how have you been, though? You've been good?
Yeah. Just, making moves, working, continuing to do the work.
Feeling right into, the whole full moon. So it's a good time to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's why we're here, with ancestral intelligence. So we're gonna deal with it that way.
Ashe, most definitely, beloved.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some questions for me, or shall I just go ahead and start?
Of course I got questions. That's what I'm here for. I got a lot of them too. A whole lot, just to get it going with them. So when it comes to just the title alone, like, I feel like if you're open to it, and willing to kind of share with us and enlighten us on how, this divine download came down, because this was the title from the Empress herself. So, but how did it come about, this particular title?
Initially, it was kind of what I call a slow roll. With spirit, with me, it's kind of, I've been tested enough with my application, meaning that if I hear something from the higher self, source, whatever you want to call the divine essence that operates around you and in you, I started to move and I just hear. I hear and I move. I hear and I move. I apply the application. And over the last several months, there has been a surge in the spirit realm when it comes to the divine feminine. And we even discussed that. I did the show with you. Some of my private consultations it's about the divine feminine getting in balance, as much as the males need to be in balance as well. But the responsibility, because it is the rise of the divine feminine, that she has to enter and understand who she is, how she can operate, and what she's meant to be. So outside of us being females and having a cycle, period, menstrual, we have these particular things that operate in our bodies. So we need to enter and understand them from a spiritual aspect as well as a physical, and being able to embody that. So just dealing with women, case in point, just dealing with women and seeing the emotional roller coaster that women go through, whether it be an adolescent stage or even once you get to 50 plus, now you're dealing with menopause and different things of this sort, so getting that hormonal balance as well as that spiritual balance. And in those cycles, we also have the moon cycles. And so oftentimes women don't realize that this particular collective consciousness, because some people say, oh, well, I don't believe in that particular this or that. Well, there's a consciousness that is made up of all of us that will agree there's a moon there, there's a sun there, this sort of thing. So in that collective consciousness, you have people that will say, okay, here's the moon, but most of them don't realize how that affects them based on what has been written and what has been spoken. And people have taken ownership of that. So that's the collective conscious, right? So you as the individual woman, this is who you need to enter and understand far as yourself. Where's your placement in that? We speak about that when it comes to the zodiac signs as well. So here's a cycle. So now you got the external cycle, the moon, and you got the internal cycle, the physical body. And now that equates to the portals. And the portals, as we discussed before on your show, about the mother of mothers and the divine feminine, we were speaking about women having 3 wounds. Well, the biggest one is, of course, her physical wound. where she can produce more life, into this particular dimension, time and space. So she needs to understand how to go ahead and apply. Some women don't have children yet, some do. How to apply the application if you're wanting to have, a child. You need to be able to enter and understand your body, yourself first, and then your second womb would be, of course, the mind, and then speaking it out of your mouth. So these things need to be in line. And all of this comes about when you start to move and identify who you are, and I like to tell people to just keep going. Just absolutely just keep going. No matter if you fall or stumble, you just get back up and keep going. Trusting the self is the key, as well as it all tying into a spiritual ritual. We do rituals every day. We just don't call them spiritual, but we need to establish a spiritual system for ourselves. So this full moon at this particular time, being in Capricorn, and us inner and understanding that Capricorn, for some of us that operate in this, when we're talking about zodiac signs and things of this sort, Capricorn has that very strong, aggressive type of movement, yet are very, meticulous, and they just kind of move with a certain beat. Let's just say that, right? But we're talking about the moon. So with us having those 13 cycles, which some people will say, no, there's only 12, but there's 13 moon cycles. Okay. And again, oftentimes all the information that we receive, it's up to you to take that on, do your research for thyself, so you can own your own perspective of whatever you're hearing, whether it's from me or anyone else. Okay, so now we have those moon cycles, and we're talking about the full moon in Capricorn. And with that being said, this particular moon is called a buck moon. And the buck moon, I realized later that the buck moon, after doing some more research, I believe it's the northern hemisphere, the Argolian, I may be saying that name wrong, so pardon me for that. They actually came up with this name because of the deer that are there. And deers, they're called antlers.
Yeah, the antlers.
Yes, they start to bring on a new antler. They start to grow new on this particular time, in this particular time of the season. So the old is washed away, and they start, developing and growing new antlers. Antlers? Antlers. I think that's how you would say it.
Antlers, yeah.
So that's where the name buck moon comes from. Okay, but it's a full moon, and most of us that operate in this particular understanding, realize that the full moon is all about releasing things. So you want to release certain things. Now, the depth of that is, what are you trying to release? All right. As well as it being in Capricorn, we're also talking about it just kind of borderlining and still aligning with Cancer. Okay. And so anybody of us know Cancers, then you personally, because remember, everything that we do, we have to personalize it. Okay. Especially as women, in inner and understanding our role in our own life and people around us. So now you have Capricorn and Cancer. And these are the two elements we were just speaking of. And this is what I mean by that. You got Capricorn, who is in earth, and then you got Cancer that is in water. Okay, so let's go back to the womb. Okay, this is a part of us being sensitive to know and realize or recognize the things that are operating around us. So oftentimes my clients will hear, and I'm sure by now the tribe has heard me say, the source that operates in us, through us, around us, to us, and by us. This is one of those things that once you get so in tune with the self, And full moons can help that, as well as new moons, but we're talking about the full moon, can help that. You will start to apply that discipline or that sight line to everything. So you'll notice synchronicity in numbers, colors. You'll, of course, notice nature. And okay, we're talking about nature, something that is externally, but you'll also recognize what that does to you, how that makes you feel. So this particular full moon is all about the fact that we need to now move in a certain direction and release certain things. Okay. Is that good? You still with me, right?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Look, I was getting all the. I was working on getting all the images. I did get them. My apologies for
Okay.
kind of bringing them in. I'm still working on this, learning this platform on how to work with these presentations. So please forgive me for
Okay.
the for the
Well,
pop ups, man. But
okay.
I got it all situated. Everything's in quality control now. We're good.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's okay. So, where I was going to go was simply the fact of having the traits of Capricorn and its connection to our particular selves, as well as of being aligned with other planets. Like,
Mm,
and this, all of this is about us taking time to do the research. I'm gonna get to
mhm.
the nitty gritty. I'm only giving the foundation. This has
Right.
to, you've got to get some form of foundation of it. Even if you don't know a whole lot, it's just start to jump into it. You know, it's going to help you. All of us get affected by anything external of us, as well
Mhm.
as internal. So men as well. But we're
Yep.
talking about the divine feminine in this particular time because she is a portal way. She is a continuous portal way, and she continuously births. So where are you birthing it from is where we need to really understand how we can use the moon cycles for our
Mhm.
benefit as well as the people around us.
Mm.
And not just moon cycles, also the holidays, which that's a whole nother show, but the holidays. People are like, oh, you celebrate that holiday? I'm like, yeah, I celebrate it.
Mhm.
I'm doing a ritual during that time. That's a
Mm.
portal. When
Mm.
you have the collective conscious all saying or celebrating a certain thing, that opens and breaks up the atmosphere. So we want to do the same thing with the full moon or new moon, but we want to do it with great intent and inner and understanding of what we need or what's required of us on our life's journey, purpose, and path. Okay, so getting to make sure that I wrote it down because it's meat. So y'all grab your little pencil
Oh, I
pads,
keep
all
mine
that.
on deck. I'm
So,
ready.
okay. So going back to our connection with the full moon's connection with it being in Capricorn, being Earth, and Cancer being the water sign, and its connection to us, such as another one that is really interesting too, because we hear oftentimes people speak about this a lot, and that is Saturn and Neptune, which I think Saturn gets a bad rap, but this here there, everything is in divine order. So we need the polarities, right? Anyhow, so Saturn and Neptune aligning together. These are both planets. If you look and research for yourself, these are planets that are known by the collective consciousness to be activated or active planets. So they're very active. So now here we go back to the moon. Now these are all the alignments that is in this particular buck moon that we're discussing, right? So your key factors or takeaways from this would be to understand what this moon means. So now, if you haven't already start feeling shifts, we're talking about sudden changes, erratic movement, of course, releasing, like we always discuss on a full moon, releasing. And the other thing is money, but it's in a masculine energy. Okay, so this is one that women, because some of us are making a lot of money, there's the even be thinking that okay, we the man because we're making so much money. Um, and others, it's still the principle of money, but that's the side of you that is that divine masculine within. So just making sure that you balance that, okay? Because that is serious. You can have it all day, be
Mhm.
her. but you got to have balance with that. So men have to have it too, ladies. I'm just really speaking to the woman, because you can birth in multiple ways and you bring things into this realm. Okay. So that's a big thing. And with knowing and having this particular balance, we also have to realize that the world itself is going through chaos, you know, which we can kind of look on television. We see it out anywhere, and everywhere. There, and that's a sign that it's not just happening physically, it's happening socially, mentally, in the natural realm, in the spiritual realm. It is happening in the underworld. It is happening. Okay. And understanding that oftentimes what we're seeing out in front of us is what we call, those that understand the tarot deck, that's tower moments. You know, these are, the world is having tower moments right now. Okay. So in knowing and understanding what this particular moon cycle means, the full moon, for thyself, you can also now look outside of yourself and see the world and what the world's going through. You literally can be in the line listening to people discuss something, and you can look at them from a different perspective, not to take hold of it, because this is also the moon is talking about release. So what are you releasing? That's the biggest thing. What are you releasing? Oftentimes we have a what do we call it? A tangible hold on even what people say that don't have nothing really to do with you, but you listening to it, so you take on that ownership of it. But why? It's doing nothing for your purpose. So with men as well, but I'm saying to the women, because we carry. We give off, we release, we bring into this realm, but we also carry. We carry a baby for 9 months. We carry things. Okay, so us carrying that particular load, that's blocking a release. Okay, that would definitely be blocking your release. And as I said, the world is going through its own. It's what I call a part of my business. Creating their own identity. The world is creating a new identity, a new narrative, a new, like you just spoke and said, oh, no, I got to get on this AI stuff. We all have to, in some capacity, participate in it. You just got to know your role that you want to do, you know what I mean? And be in it. So that's one of the biggest things. And I don't know, I'll say this and then let you go ahead and ask the question. For me, July the 7th, this past.
You can't steal my questions, man. Lady, you said you was gonna let me ask the question. Now I done sat here and took my notes. I got receipts. I wrote that. That was one of my questions for real too. I was gonna ask you like what you thought about it, because I figured you with your. I know that number and you. In your physical and your spiritual existence, it's a very significant number. So I promise that was like one of the first questions I was gonna ask was like, what was your perspective? I'm gonna steal my question back. So anyway, so if you could share with us, how did that 777 how does that, from your gift and from your level of Ashe and you being the woman and the daughter of the mother from a child, how did that 777 portal play into what we're, experiencing right now? I say.
You gotta ring that bell. And I meant to say, ladies, in the comments, if I ever say something that like touch you, put bells in the comment section. Okay. Seriously.
I know that's
that is all about our spirit. That's just honoring our ancestors. That's opening up the portal ways so it keeps getting clear, more clear, more clear. But July the 7th was for me personally, wow. It was just like, wow. After you've tilled your ground, and built, and Empress isn't just, okay, I'm just going to stick this name on me, Empress. I have physically built companies that were very close to me and had them a tower moment, have them taken, going, flat, and then have to build it back up. And okay, I'm outside of America. Okay. So I'm not doing the credit system to build a
Right.
business. That's
Right.
my, my own cash. That's me.
Mm. Wow.
So that's where the Empress part comes in. So
Mm.
for me, this particular July 7th, and I'm 7, honey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That
I'm
was
7.
real.
Was really watching how spirit or source just gave back to me,
Mm.
in
I
a
should.
way that is unexpected, but expected.
Mm.
Like there's a knowing that this will come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
You stop thinking about, oh, when, and you actually just continue to operate no matter what's happening.
Yeah.
And so I literally and physically could feel this energy shift. But I went
Mm.
about my day, and as I went about my day, it just kept opening up more and more with abundance. And it
Mm.
was abundance in the light of the way that I operate. So my business, my spiritual side, the things that I had, tilled the ground for and lost at one time. So it was a really powerful shift. Now, at the same time, I'm shifting and entering overstanding and watching. I'm also able to observe other people who are not experiencing that same, let's just say, feeling. They feel in the shift, but their shift is shifting in another direction. So it's being very observant of yourself, mindful of yourself, but also watching others, but not being so attached to them that something that comes out of their mouth would shift you off of your balance and off your course. And in that, it was, all I can say, it was absolutely, it was beautiful. It was really, really nice.
I should.
Really nice.
That's what's up.
Ashe, for real time. It was really nice.
That's what's
Okay.
up.
So when we're talking about the shifting and passing, I should say this.
Can I ask you another question real quick, if you don't
Yeah,
mind? Because
go on.
one of the things this came up, I had I think it was either last night or night before I had a divination consultation with a client, and it's come up not just this particular uh consultation last night, but it's been happening with just regular conversations and through divination consultations where a lot of people, including myself, have experienced. A lot of people are experiencing things where like we'll go to sleep and wake up and be like the body aches or just wake up
Mm-hmm.
in a real cloudy or you know what I'm saying, just wake up feeling
Mm-hmm.
real kind of like mucky or murky or melancholy
Yes,
or
agree.
you know what I mean? Like does all that kind of tie into what you're about to share with us in
Oh,
regards to
most definitely.
okay,
Most definitely.
got you.
Because the depth of that is, again, we all have a wound. Okay.
Hmm.
To
Hmm.
me, the mind is a wound.
Hmm.
It's a wound.
I should.
Okay.
Hmm.
It's going to produce something. It's going to hold and store something. It's going to produce something.
Right.
Okay. It's
Hmm.
how it comes out. All right. Maybe in an
Hmm.
action, maybe in your mouth if you're a man. With a
Yep.
woman, and your action, your mouth, and your portal.
Mm. Wow.
So it's a process. And when
Hmm.
you take on certain things, and that's why I made the reference to, you could be out listening to somebody and you take on what they're going through. No, baby, that ain't got nothing. You just kind of release people.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
often tell the clients, listen, you have to get to a place where you are attached but detached from people.
Yeah.
Attached but detached from a situation. It's
Yes.
going to help you.
Hmm.
Okay. And yes, it may take you a little bit of time because you're like, well, I can't really do that because it could be your mom or whoever, your uncle,
Yeah.
somebody close to you, friend.
Yeah.
Got to get used to that. Okay. So, yes, you're absolutely right when it comes to dealing with the body aches. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I didn't feel that on that day. I felt it beforehand coming
Got
up.
you. I got you.
Okay, I do a lot of, I also coach and assist people with their physical body. So calisthenics, yoga, gym, all this, these are things that I do. So I'm constantly in a state of moving and feeling your body, da, da, da.
Right.
And what I got more of actually was being more like I was in a different dimension.
Mm.
Not the aches of the body. I was more out.
Wow.
I
Like
was
astral
outside.
projection, astral traveling.
Yes,
I sure.
absolutely. And
That's what's
then
up.
again, if I haven't said it with you and the tribe here, it is you walking in that meditative state. Like
Yes.
meditation
Mm-hmm.
is meditation. You can sit and you can hum, you can do that, you can close it up. But what I've realized and started to implement with not just myself, but my clients is, listen, you got to be able to open your eyes and still
Yep.
have that meditative state.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
still have to do that.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt my thing way before,
Mm-hmm.
and mine's was now that I had just allowed it. 7-7 to me was, oh no, baby, this is your port away.
I know that's
This
right.
you here you go,
Mm.
because you stood and you endured. Here, it's coming back to you. You see that?
Mm.
So it was that particular thing for me. So most people leading into the next part of this, if you didn't feel a shift, like a noticeable shift, trust and believe that it's still shifted.
Oh yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
that you didn't notice it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
look,
that, go on.
no, I was gonna say I look at it. It's funny. I was just sharing this with somebody recently too. I look at it like if you think about people who like I work off of a laptop, right? So if I have a software update, the system, that I think it's Safari, whatever Safari is, the software, system that runs on the laptop. That I feel like metaphorically speaking is like the spiritual upgrade, right? Like we're having like if we look at how that software on the laptop on the Apple Safari system upgrades, to me, if us as spiritual beings having a human experience, that's us having a spiritual upgrade. But then I felt like some of the things that we're having that are kind of like a side effect to that spiritual / software update, it's going to affect the hardware, right? Which is then going to affect our
Exactly.
bodies, which would now that's kind of like our laptop itself, the computer system itself, the hardware being affected by the software update. Is kind of like what I was like. That to me, that's kind of like what resonated with me as to what's actually happening with people.
Yes, no, I agree. No, totally agree. And it's okay. And as you walk in your particular life purpose and path, you're going to
Mhm.
expand greater in that. So you turning around and looking at somebody to your left or your right, you're going to be able to see. And
Mhm.
it's all what you program thyself to see, what you
Mhm.
allow, and I should say more importantly, what you allow yourself to see. Because most
Mhm.
of us, we can see a hint of it at the peripheral, but we decide,
Mhm.
no, we ain't trying to see that.
Mhm.
But that was meant for you, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So the parts of this particular shift that happened July the 7th is also because of another planet that I was like, did they just find another planet?
There's a lot of them out there, man. It's a lot going on out there
They
that
just
they
found
they're not sharing.
another planet. How do you say it? Uranus,
Uranus.
Uranus.
Uranus,
I think
yeah.
it's
Uranus.
yeah. I don't know how to. Yeah.
Tomato, tomato.
Um,
Potato,
but
potato.
but at the same time, this is the same one that most, again, because things are things take on importance. Money, people, cars, a planet, a tree take on importance based on our conscious agreement.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of conscious people saying, "Okay, I see that."
Right.
Then it's going to be there.
Right.
You feel me?
Mhm.
So Uranus actually being in the house now. Okay, so you had July the 7th, and
Mhm.
Uranus is sitting there. Now, what they say with Uranus is it's going to be sitting there for the next 8 years.
Mm.
Okay, now I when you're so sensitive and you start to study and you start to really get into your walk,
Mhm.
because that's the biggest thing is your walk.
Mhm.
I can understand when someone says to me, "Oh no, Neptune's in your sign right now,"
Mhm.
because there's been oftentimes for the last 8 years myself, planets have been in my houses,
Mm.
and I'm like, well, why? why isn't this working for me right now?
Mm.
I don't understand. Why does it get to a certain point and then, okay, no, it has to go back here? Why
Mm.
does that keep happening? And
Mm.
then, like the shift, there comes another shift, and you'll go through a course.
Mm.
Literally, that's almost like us saying compartmentalize even our thoughts, that
Right.
we're not in a rat race within the mind, which we'll go into that particular part too.
Right.
But
Oh yeah.
so anything that you do at this particular time, you better recognize that it's going to be there for a while.
Right. Mm.
Okay. Based on you entering understanding the planetary alignment, how that works with your body, the situation, as you already see, the world is recreating its own identity,
Mm.
whether it has people actually controlling that or not. These are
Mm-hmm.
things that you want to make sure that you have some more grounding in for yourself.
Right.
Um, so anything I would say that you're doing right now, or you find that there's absolutely a need, like you just mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
it's because it's going along your soul alignment.
Mm.
I felt more alive. It's just more aligned with things. It's like somebody saying, write a sentence and they leave out apple, but they say, it comes from a tree and,
Mm.
this sort of thing.
Right.
The sentences start to collapse together like timelines.
Mm.
Things start to collapse together. So where you had holes and pockets of things that you might have started before, now all of a sudden they're coming back.
Mm.
They're going to come back. Now
I see.
it's up to you to what you do with them,
Right.
because most people will still hold. Now going to woman again as well, you will hold that emotion so hard, so long that you're not releasing it, this is why you're going to do a releasing and this particular time for this full moon. Okay. Which is good. So let's get to some basic, practices, or what I like to call the spiritual rituals, those items that we need to make sure that we have. And specifically for this particular book moon,
Mm-hmm.
and us being able to realize that, okay, so we're releasing things. I'm looking outside and the world's creating their own, X, Y, and Z. What am I doing for myself? What am I doing for myself that will impact the people around me, the people that I love? So the biggest thing I would say we're going to start with is the spiritual baths. Okay. And with the spiritual baths, there's many ways that you can do a spiritual bath. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because some people will take a shower, but that's completely a shower.
Right.
However, if you're also doing your own brewing, which I call, you putting your herbs and your, these sort of things in,
Mm-hmm.
and you're putting in, making the atmosphere. So you're having a shower, a spiritual shower. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because intention is far more greater and exceeds anything that you can tangibly grab. The
Right.
intention of it, because once you touch whatever that is, or you believe you have it, it is so. Okay. So and I'll go back a little bit first. The altar. Okay, I want to go to the altar because most people do altar work. And altar, there's two altars. Okay. And I say that there's two altars because we can have tons of altars, and to me they're shrines. We can do one for love, we can do one for money, we can do one for our ancestors, we can do it for a deity. We can do many altars, but the altar that I'm speaking about is the altar, the physical altar.
Mm.
You are the altar. Okay, you are
Mm-hmm.
the altar. So whatever you put in you, whatever you allow in through your ears, your eyes, your mouth, what you put on you, you are the altar.
Mm.
All of that is sitting with you.
Mm.
It's going to be produced, it's going to produce something.
Right.
So whatever you're listening to, hearing, eating, it's going to produce something in your body, in your mind, within your heart, that sort of thing. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm giving this breakdown of certain things, I'm speaking from the standpoint of your physical body being the altar. So now you're going to go into that spiritual bath. And with you going into that spiritual bath, especially women, you're going back into the womb. So now you're mothering yourself. So those that listen to the other lives that we had would hear me say and mention that egg. You're going back to that particular egg or fetus state, but you need to mother yourself there. So the spiritual bath is not just about the niceties, like we can put, certain herbs and fragrance scents and this and that. Not that I won't mention that in this particular live. However, it is more about your intentional flow of you realizing that you are bringing yourself, you're making yourself a ritual. People tend to just look externally like the ritual is so external. The ritual is internal. So doing a spiritual bath, you bringing yourself into a certain place where you remind yourself of who you are, what your purpose is. And if you don't know what your purpose is, that's where you can ask, because you're in water. You're physically in water. Your water in water. Water has codes, whether it's external of you or internal. But when you mix those two together, now you have a covering, a spiritual covering for yourself. Okay, for yourself. And you can add your crystals. So your crystals could be the jade, the obsidian, which I keep all of my crystals, not all of them, but most of them.
Right.
I keep them all in a bowl. Okay.
That's funny. I got mine sitting directly across from me in a selenite bowl. That's dope.
In fact, I keep them in my bowl. And this is where I can do, if I need to cleanse them, I need to take them and charge them out in the sun, put them on my body in direct sunlight. These are all of the principles that you want to now add. And so you can use your crystals. You can use onyx, obsidian, jade. These things are all for protection. Okay. So again, before you're getting into your bath, everything is a practice, it's a practice. Okay. And you want to take that practice to the next level each time. Okay. So maybe you don't do crystals. Okay. Maybe you do something. You want to take your practice because you are the altar. You are making you the ritual. The more you do that, you can't help but to loose anything that doesn't service your purpose. You can't help but to only attract that which you desire, because you're constantly making you the ritual. Okay.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Yes.
So, because now I know the full moon and the divine feminine energy and all that is part of the topic of today. So now I'm very confident that I know there's going to be effects and, success and elevation, expansion, whatever you're doing in regards to the purpose or the intention of the spiritual baths, right? So how does, or no, let me phrase it this way. Does it intensify with the level of impact when we're doing these spiritual baths or these, spiritual cleansings, etc., during the full moon time? And if so, where does the extra impact come from, if it does have any impact?
For myself and those that I've dealt with, yes, most definitely. It has an impact on you. Okay. Because again, it's still your intention. It's what you're driving home. So if you go ahead and you do that spiritual bath and you only did it, excuse my mouth, half-ass, basically, you just, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just get in here and do this and that, then that's what you're going to get out of it. And if you go in and you do it and then you have a doubt, then that's what you're going to get out of it. Most of us don't really realize that we create certain aspects. And even if we don't physically do the self-sabotage to ourselves, we might have placed ourselves in an arena where someone else could help contribute to that. And that's a fact that I've had to learn, even when I was just mentioning before, building a business. I didn't self-sabotage myself in the actual action of this happening to me. It was a person that laid in wait with me that pulled the rug from me. My role was only interacting with that person. You feel me? So it does, things do affect how you move. And especially you are making an intention to have something work in your life. Now, what we often jump off the road is because once it starts to happen, it may not look like it's happening. And
Right.
there may be some other things that you got to go through and weed through before you get the other part of it. And you're just like, wait a minute. We either give up on it, or, we just like, forget it. I'm not doing that. So it's a constant, a day-to-day walk of your intentions. Okay. So using the moon, using any form of ritual that's external to help you with your internal or your day-to-day application, but you've given it intention, yes, it is going to affect you. And the more you take it on, it either will affect the body, which, first it starts in the mind and then it comes out and spills out in your body. So I have an ache, I can't sleep, I'm having anxiety, I don't want to eat. These things do all play a role. So taking yourself as you're the altar. Now you're going to take that altar and you're going to have a spiritual bath, right? And you're going to gather all the things that you would need. So in this particular time, let's just say we're going to use our crystals. We're going to use, for protection, we're going to use a jade, a onyx, obsidian. We want to use maybe even a Solionite. Do you know this one?
I believe that's what my bowl is made out of. Is this selenite? Oh,
yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. That's why I like. I got mine sitting right across from me. That was funny that you had yours in the bowl too.
Yes. So that is all about the dream state and the consciousness, and you're going to be going in a form of dream state, especially going into a spiritual bath, and you sitting there for 45 minutes. For me, I can go longer. But for the most part, 45 minutes, you give yourself time to wind down in it. You sit in it for a while as you're doing your utterly confessions, allowing yourself to release, allowing yourself to receive from source that is working in all aspects that vibrate with you. You can also do the, where is my orange stone? So, of course, like I said, I have a lot of crystals in here. And it really depends. For me, I always tell people, specifically for this particular time, you want a protection because you are releasing things and you don't want to leave yourself open even spiritually. Okay, because there could be somebody miles away from you doing something spiritually, and it does happen, that may not like your energy at all. So you don't want to leave yourself open with that. So using that in your bath water, along with all the rest of the incense that you might want to use, the lavender and lemon. This is really good at this particular time because it's all about joy, happiness, bringing us into alignment with ourselves. Using the rosemary and cedarwood. I think I'm saying that right. Cedarwood. That one is really good as well, mixing them together. And you can do that. You don't necessarily have to do that in oil. You can do it in incense, because oftentimes if you put too many oils in your water, of course, it's going to be all over the place. It's going to take some time to clean that up. All right. And then having clear quartz is really good as well. But that's more about your heart. Okay. So you want to protect your heart in that. And I believe the last one, which would be good this time, is the Palo Santo. Palo Santo. This one is really good. That's really good too. Palo
Is that
Santo?
a crystal or a smudge?
No, it's for smudge.
Oh, okay. The Palo Santo sticks.
Yes, that's for the smudge. Yeah. That's a smudge. Which will be really, really good. And then canela. Canela would be good too for that prosperity. And make sure that you, we just did it the other day too, blow that canela into the cinnamon. Sorry, I'm saying it in Spanish.
Listen,
blow that cinnamon into your house, into your door. Okay. Now we're talking about you having that time for your altar. So this is where you need to come in and do this for your space, which will lead me into this particular part. Before you do your spiritual bath, and most people say, okay, well, we go ahead and we can get orange slices, we can do all that, and which is fine, honey. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's really cute. I'm not mad at it. And make you smell good. Okay.
Got healing properties in that orange skin. Look, I thought it did. I thought it had like some sort of I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let me stop.
Yes. You're about to go there. Okay.
I'm gonna chill.
So before you do that, okay, now I'm gonna go back to the altar. Remember, you're the altar. So some of us have made our altars already, right? And some of us haven't. If you've already made your altar, why don't you start at your altar? Okay, so we already understand that what certain colors, especially white, you want to go ahead and put that up there. That's ancestors, that sort of thing. But remember, we're making this about you, and we're aligning it with what the moon means. So go ahead and start at your altar and pick up those candles, yellow and orange. Okay, this is about the solar plex, and this is the sacral chakra. Okay, and that's in the area that, of course, is below our heart chakra. These are the two areas that we hold a lot, especially the sacred chakra. People hold a lot of trauma there. They hold a lot of self-doubt there. In the solar plex, they're dealing with more of, it's kind of also the same thing. You're kind of dealing with that fact that I don't believe in myself. I don't, how am I going to do this? It's that fight, that everlasting fight. Okay, so you want to get these two candles. Of course, cleanse your candles. All right, put those candles up first on your altar. Have that going. Did you want to ask me something?
I do, but because I feel like I'm in tune and with the audience, and I feel like because we have people that are at a lot of different varying degrees of their journey. Yeah, so I just want to ask, if you don't mind, can you share like what would be a way for people to cleanse the candles? Because some people, I don't think they might not even know like what you're referring to when you say you should cleanse the candles before putting them on.
Okay, so anything. Okay, first of all, anything that we buy, we should wash it first. But not everything we do that. I mean, definitely when we're doing rituals. So candles, you want to take them out the package, whatever package you buy, and you want to wipe them. I generally use olive oil on mine to cleanse it. Sometimes I will use the Florida water and just let them dry out. And then of course you can speak into the candle. You can even write something on a piece of paper, wrap it around the candle. But this is how you cleanse that particular energy, because of course you can go buy a mini candle and people immediately would just put it up and put it on their. No, baby, it's vibrating with the energy of whoever made it. Put it in a package, hand to hand. No, you don't want any of that. So that's what I meant by cleansing your candle. Okay.
And I don't know why, and please forgive me, but I promise it's just a natural thought that came in. But that to me, it's almost like before you get intimate with your partner, like you ain't finna just walk in the house and just get it in, you know what I'm saying, without washing your butt. You know what I mean? Like you got to clean up and you got to get them hot spots clean and fresh for you. You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of like how I see when we doing spiritual work. Like we don't just take that from where it came from and just put it somewhere sacred. We got to cleanse that and scrub it up and get it nice and fresh and clean.
Yes,
on that.
You want to present the best you, right? So that's exactly the same thing. So you're taking your altar to the altar, and then you're programming that altar, giving gratitude to that altar, but you're also giving gratitude and thanks to the self, because you are the walking altar. The altar that is external of you wouldn't physically be there if you hadn't put the altar up. So it is you understanding that you are the altar in all of your walk. You are your ancestors. A lot of us say that. And there's different ways that we display that. Libations, candles, flowers, balloons going up in the air. Whichever your preference, just remember you're the altar. So now start at your altar. And what you're starting at your altar, you're of course going to make sure that your altar is clean. Everything is dust off. You want to make sure that whole area where you're doing a ritual for yourself is clean. Every area. Don't leave trash out. Don't leave clothes hanging around, because again, you're presenting yourself to source. You're presenting yourself to self. Like, this is how you want to present yourself, then that's what you'll get back in return. And it's a constant, consistent application. So now after you've cleaned that up, whatever it is that you got and how you like your altar to be, and you have your crystals, maybe you have your crystals on your altar. You also want to make sure that you have your little box. I always keep a box and have my clients make a box. And this box stores some of everything in it. And when I say everything, I mean past years of me making affirmations, having inner and understanding of what different type of what numbers mean, being able to look back on some of the areas that I claimed over my life. And so all these particular cards, postcards, they're postcard size, okay? I even colored them, based on what it is that vibrates with you high and that you would need to have some greater understanding of. All of that starts with you, the altar, sitting at your altar even, and just taking that committed time for yourself. So, okay, as I said, I have this is my box that I've had for years. And then you just get a new box, okay? Make sure that you go ahead and when you get those index cards, you go ahead and label them with whatever they are or whatever it is that you need. So I did candles, I did numbers, I did my crystals. Of course, I did my affirmations and decrees. I did my gratitude cards, and I put them in here. And of course, year by year, because they're yearly, year by year, then you put them into a nice little, what we call a little, I use the little clear bag, the same thing that we would do with our decks, our tarot decks. We want to make sure that they're in a silk bag, so all these little things you think, okay, well, why do I have to do that? Because there's a process. There's no different than the way that you were raised. Well, as soon as you get up, you're either supposed to make up your bed, but you definitely better go brush your teeth. There's order and discipline to things.
Wash your butt.
So the way that you move in it, you'll get that. Okay, that's what you're gonna get. So that's one of the things, the box, right? So you're still at your altar, okay? We're still at our altar before we go jump in and starting to do other things. We've cleansed the whole area, all right? So then we're gonna make sure that we also have our journal book, right? We're gonna have our journal book. Now, I do this and tell people to do this all the time because this is so good for you. So your own altar work time and day, every time you sit down there, journal it, okay? And sit in that space enough where you get used to just being able to just relax, okay? And what I say with meaning just relax, however you get there, baby, okay? You can relax, but you need to allow the mind to have time to work. Let's just put it that way. As you had mentioned before, most people say, okay, you got the monkey brain things. I call it like the rat race. Okay, so allow that. Don't try to fight it, because as soon as you try to fight it, you're already now building more walls.
Yeah.
Allow it to come to you. Look at it. See and feel it. Why are you thinking about it? See and feel it. Feel it. How does that make you feel? Okay, so I'm starting to feel sad. What I've done, and it's based on you, if you can literally look at that particular thought, feel it, and move it over, compartmentalize it, you're eventually going to clear the mind and space. Of course, you're adding your breath work into that, which we'll get into. But that's why you have the book here. Okay, you have the book here so you can write those same thoughts. Oftentimes, people don't believe that if you have a bad thought and you speak it out normally, or people act it out. When you start to write it out,
man, listen.
Because you go back to it.
Listen, that's I'm telling you, I think we might have spoke on this. I don't know if it was the first or the second episode, but this was my first book that I wrote, Tips, right? When I tell you this was like the most powerful healing journey, like for me, because I had to time travel back into the time. It's not like an autobiography. I just shared my story, on my path, but I shared it out of other people were like literally kind of like pushing me to do it because I didn't really see the value in doing it. I didn't at the time. My mindset was different,
Mm,
so I didn't see where people saw what they saw in me. I didn't see it in me. So it took for multiple
okay.
people to say it, and then I'll never forget. It really was Les Brown who he really triggered something in me where he was like, sometimes if you don't have the confidence to do something, or if you're just not inspired to do something, but other people see it in you and you know it's a good thing to do, he's like, sometimes you got to go with other people's confidence in you until you have that confidence yourself.
Mm,
I'm like, damn.
mhm,
Like, and it
mhm,
wasn't that I wasn't
mhm.
confident, but I just didn't see, like, I didn't think people would want to
Yes,
read a
yes,
book
yes.
from me, but you know what I mean? So it was like, it still was a mindset thing, but he flipped that when he said what he said, because I'm like, dang, I respect these people who's saying this. So it's not like I'm not listening to them, but I just didn't get it, what they've got. You know what I mean? But it's like,
Right,
you can't
right.
see the picture when you're in the frame. So
But
now I think,
isn't that value of self?
yes, yeah, yeah,
That's value of self. We often, because we've heard it from somebody or a
yeah,
situation had us think that we didn't. That's
yeah,
why you would think, well, why would people want to
yeah,
listen to me?
yeah,
That is the depth of that. So you
yeah,
use that, and I love that. I love the
yeah,
book. But this is what I tell people about the journaling. I have so many journals. It's people are like,
yeah.
what? What? No, I'm
It's
trying to
reflection,
tell you it works. It works. It
reflection.
works. It helps you reflect on your own and
Yeah,
rechange it, change the
yeah,
narrative. So
yes.
you're sitting at that altar. Now your candles are going, everything is cleaned in your space. You have your journal. But you want that other journal too, because you want that dream journal. I
Mhm.
don't care how people, my dreams are so chaotic or they're this or da da da. Baby, you need to start writing that all down. What you do remember, be happy that you are dreaming, because that means you
Mhm.
can walk, you can
Yes.
travel. Okay. People that are not dreaming, they're closed in, they're blocked off. So in
Mm.
this particular time, the full moon, you might as well go ahead and use that as a releasing point. So now you have the dream book and you have your journal, you're sitting at your altar. Now, why are you there? So find that comfortable space. And when you find that comfortable space, now I want you to take the candle and I want you to look into the candle. And once you look into the candle, just start to try your best not to blink. And some people, I mean, of course, all of us start somewhere, but at least start. Try your best not to blink and just keep looking at the candle. Okay. Just keep looking at the candle. And as you look in the candle, now you want to take that right breath. Okay, so you taking that rightful breath, you want to go ahead and just either do the prana. So you take that thumb over the one side of your nostril, count for 4, inhale for 4, cross it over, hold for 4, and then exhale for 4, right? And you want to be able to get used to just doing it and just looking into the candle, doing your breath work. Your book is there, the altar's in front of you, everything's fine, no problem. But remember, you're the altar, okay? So everything that comes to you in a thought, the other part of that is you're saying, am I going to place that on my altar? That will help you compartmentalize that bullshit that may be coming to you like, ah, no, I'm gonna put that over there. Or, oh, wait, maybe I need to write that down. However, if you are looking into the candle, there's no need for that. You need to just stay right there. Stay there long enough where all of a sudden you get to a point where there's no thought, there's just space, and you hear your breath and you feel your breath. It works. Okay? It does. It works, right? The next thing is you want to make sure that you have that black mirror, okay? As I teach or teach on divination, definitely scouring, mirror work. The thing that I've found with full moons, and of course, if you don't know how to do it, please learn first. Learn first. You want to have that obsidian black mirror. You want to have that black mirror, okay? And you're going to take that black mirror, and this one's small. Of course, you can have it bigger, but start where, okay, your altar's in front of you. You got your mirror there. So now you're going to do mirror work. First, you start with yourself. You're owning yourself. You realize this. You want to work through the process, right? So then you go to the next stage, and you want to use that obsidian mirror. And now you take your eyes off of the candle, and now you want to look into the mirror. Okay. Now I will say that it is something that will raise your heart rate. You will be like, oh my God, wait, what's going on? What's going on?
Is that the obsidian?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes. So the obsidian, it's just black. Now you don't have to start with black. Get you another one that's small. You use the white, but you're starting the process. Get the white one. Now, the depth of it is starting with the white. After looking into the candle, try your best not to blink. Now you're going to go and look into that mirror. And looking into that mirror, you want to stay right there in the mirror, and you should see the light of the candle. And eventually, the stronger you get with your intention and your breath, you're going to turn that mirror black. And you want to be able to feel, and you're going to feel your body shift and move. You know, when people always say, oh, okay, I'm scared, or, startling people. No, you're going to feel your body shift and move because you've allowed yourself to be less than.
Yeah.
You totally elevated out of your space because you took your time to breath work. You're using yourself as a ritual. The more you do it, again, it will feel kind of scary. It will feel scary. It felt scary the first time I did. I was like, oh, wait, what? But the inner part of me would not let this go. It was like, no, you've come this far. You might as well keep going. You've come this far. Okay. So in that, there's several different ways that you can maneuver with that. Okay. Some people, my experience, some people, oh, no, it's too much. So then take your time, go back to your breath work. Take your time, take your notebook out, allow whatever thoughts are coming to you. If you can't compartmentalize them, you put them into your journal. Now, the depth of what I have found for myself and other people is when you write in a journal, most people always just write down what happened. No, you need to also reply to what happened. Okay. So you wrote, okay, I had a bad day, blah, 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 blah. But you now need to put what you want to happen, what should manifest. You have to counter that which you put in. Okay. If it doesn't serve, you need to counter it with something. Write a new narrative. Okay. And with that, highlight that narrative. All right. That's what you want to come out of it. You document what happened. Now you need to rewrite the script. Okay. So you have those two areas. And in that particular side, after you've had your box, now you've got your journal, you've meditated. And when I say meditated, this is your eyes open. Okay. You've done your breath work. Now you want to add in those particular areas of the physical part of the body doing a movement that helps the internal part. So for this full moon, you want to deal with the mudras. And I think you have the image of that, the mudras for the solar plex and the sacral chakra. So the solar plex is the yellow one. So the ladies, you want to make sure that you go ahead and do the solar plex. You won't be able to really see my hands.
Can you describe the mudra again, please?
It's the solar, it's yellow. And the hands are facing forward, like in a prayer position, but yeah. You had it. You had the right one.
Yeah, okay. But that's not the right. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen the right way, though. I got to work with this platform as far as. No problem.
I get it. I'll continue. So with this, ladies, so now you have your particular your self put together. Now you're sitting down. Now you want to use the mudra for this for the solar plex and the sacral chakra. Okay. And in doing these particular things, you want to keep your breath work. Again, either the prana or now you can do fire breaths, but I'll get to that a little bit later. But something to slow the heart rate down. So you slow down. So you want to do this particular mudra, and you want to put it right there at that spot. Okay. And this is the area that now you're talking about speaking these things off of you, releasing them in a certain way off of you. There's like stages of, okay, I can release this. And this is giving you that particular side of your willpower, your will for you to move in that particular direction. Okay. Then the other one is your sacral chakra. So that's the orange one. And in the sacral chakra, you want to make sure that you're doing the same thing. So once he puts it up, you'll see the sacral chakra. And you want to hold it right above the root chakra. And this is all about the aspects of what we say is creativity or intuition, these things, because you need the mind first to operate in a certain thing. But the present state right now that we're dealing with is being able to have the willpower and the creativity to move into this new, to operate into this new shift, because it's already shifted, whether you realized it or not.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to have some control over your own narrative. You're looking outside at others and going, okay, or the system, or da 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 da, and you're going, okay, they're trying to control me. Okay, well, what you need to do is control the inner peace part of yourself. So you taking these two mudras, doing these two mudras, you got the candles that are burning at the same particular color. So you've looked, you're putting so much intention into this particular area of the self for this particular moon call. And people, oh, well, you know, because most people, okay, let me just go ahead and dance, and which is fine. You can go ahead and dance for the moon. But when you start elevating and wanting more of the elevation for yourself, you're going to apply certain disciplines to it. And this is part of those particular disciplines. So after you have your mudras, right? So now we've done our mudras, we've got our candles working. Now we're going back, okay, to that part of ourself where we can think about the aspects of who we are and who we want to be, or how we feel that we've shifted now, because our solar plex and our sacral chakra is giving us, as a collective conscious, we know this to be the willpower, creativity, but it also is about your communication skills, your clarity, being warm and having energy to do whatever it is that you need to do. I like to say people need to have more joy, because joy lasts forever, where happiness comes and goes. And you having these particular areas now embodied them with yourself, you want to now look towards another part of your altar, which is external of you, and use some spiritual money. Okay, use some spiritual money. Now,
I'm glad you brought that up. I had some questions about that.
Okay, so you want to use some spiritual money, and spiritual money can be used for different things. But the greatest thing that you do, and that's what I'm teaching the students now, with the spiritual money, you actually will be sowing to yourself. Okay, that's another step, but you'll be sowing to yourself. You
what does that
start
mean?
off.
Sowing to yourself. Can you explain that?
Okay, so you, with the spiritual money, we're burning it to the ancestors for whatever realm and time and space they're in, just like we would light a cigarette, or not a cigarette. Let's just say a cigar. What I know, cigar, some whiskey. You know, we're going to put whatever it is that ancestor enjoys, right?
Gotcha.
And with the spiritual money, of course, we're going to do the same thing. However, what I have learned by using spiritual money, and this is not just, you can also get the ones with, and I don't have it in front of me, that looks like actual money.
I got some. I'll go grab mine real quick.
This is jade. Yeah. Okay. This is jade, but there also are the ones that look like actual money. You want to write on these now, and how I use these is the ones that are with the Emperor Jade on it. I'm going to write, and again, this is us casting our spells for ourselves, or even passing, sending money to our ancestors, spirit guides, what have you. And then the ones that look like actual money, I'm going to write on there about physical material things. So that's how I use them. I tell people to separate it. Yes, that one. Yes, that. Exactly. Okay. Now, this, and separated is better, because one is specifically geared to a spirit realm, and the other one, of course, this is spirit, but that's based on our consciousness. So you want to write those material things on the ones that look like money. It's okay. And when I said to you that, okay, it's ancestral money, And we tend to sow that outwardly for the ancestors, spirit guides, deities, this sort of thing. When I, that'll be a whole nother video, but when I say sow to yourself, this is you taking all of the tools that you've learned and to utilize, whether it be your mirror, your crystals, especially when it comes to your journaling, journaling as far as your altar work, because it's altar work, dreams, and your day-to-day life are the three I always tell people to get their journals, okay? And then with those 3 journals, you sit down one day and read through them, and to a point that yourself will summon yourself to those journals so you can see certain things that you wrote previously, okay? But in this particular time, if you're at that particular level, take that spiritual money and sow to yourself. So you've released all the things that are not aligning with your path right now because you've been shifted into the new. So now you take that spiritual money and you document that which you desire as your fulfillment now in this new. And don't just leave it to being material. Take it down to a principles as simple as, may it be that I do X, Y, and Z with ease and grace, with protection and this. You know, don't make it so material. Make it a spiritual thing for the self. After you've done that, you sign that to the self. Some people will use red pens. Some people, I've done it myself, cut just a little bit of blood, put it on, and then I fold my spiritual money, and then I burn it. Okay? I burn that, so I'm ascending it. After you've collected all that, you got your ashes, you want to make sure that you flush it out a clean pipeline, or go to the water, pour it out during the water, that sort of thing. Okay, so we've now taken ourselves from just the physical altar, the altar external of us. We've gone in and taken on and a hold of our natural crystals, and we've used our mirror and the candles to help us reflect and build ourselves anew. So now we're going to step into that area where, okay, now I'm going to go take a bath. But before you take a bath, you should take a shower. You should, everything, remember, is a preparation for you going in to be that new. All right. So as you go now in, you want to take your shower. You're going to wash your hair. You're going to do all that. You can just groom you are preparing for yourself. So how you choose to prepare for yourself is how you're going to show up to you and everybody else. Take that shower. Pat yourself dry. Don't do anything so harsh and hard on your body. Pat yourself dry. Now you get into that tub that's already been sitting there. It's already has the crystals in it, your unk. Goodness, it could be even the herbs. You have the incense going. Nobody's coming into your space if they've not saged themselves, if they haven't aligned themselves, because that's the other thing. And it could be your child. Okay, it can be your child. No. Nobody needs to come in that space if they are not saged and aligned with what you are doing. Get in that bathtub. Now that you're in that bathtub, you've already released stuff. You already caught certain things forth. Now you have a clear bath after you've gone through a process. It's like going to a spa, honey. You're giving your own self a ritual spa. Get into that bathtub. Now you're tapping into the music. So you want to make sure, and you could have done the music. You could start the music anytime you want to, but you want to go ahead and use music that don't have words. All right. I'm not saying that you can't use the beautiful music with the different hymns and all that. You can.
Right.
Let me say, I'm suggesting that you use use Hertz music, natural music, sounds of crickets or the water, rainfall, this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So you're not pre-programming yourself with new entry words. But you can't, because you can take a spiritual bath for love and you want to hear love song, blah, 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 but it's going to give you that which somebody else's idea. You're in a new time zone. This is your new narrative you need to create there. So you're using the hertz for, I think it's 210. 210. So 210 is going to deal with the sacral chakra. So remember this, you're using 210. Now you're putting, what we're doing is we're taking your altar before you get into the bathtub of water, that you are water. We're reprogramming it, putting a code on it. So now when you get into the water, you are solidifying it. So you're doing all of these different tools that will help you move through your own emotional intelligence before you go outside and deal with all this chaos we were just talking about, or the sudden shifts and changes, because people can go through the same thing, but deal with it in completely different ways. So you want to take that hertz, that 210, which deals with the sacral chakra, which is all about your creativity. You want to play that. So you have that playing. Put it in rotation. Okay, put it in rotation. Then you want to add in 528, which is associated with being able to release that stress, being able to heal spiritually, being emotionally intelligent. It's a love vibration, okay? And with that being a love vibration, that also aligns with your solar plex, okay? That willpower to love yourself enough to know, okay, I can do this. I can go through this. I done been through other things before, but now I'm looking at how I want to go through this. Because we are the ones that, how can I put it? We're the ones that actually narrate how we're going to go through the loop of our own life. So as I said on the other show, we are gardens. So if you're looking at yourself like you're the garden, like you're the altar, what you put on it, what you put in it, that's what's going to manifest. If you know you're shifting out of a timeline, then you want to have something that is good, something that is vibrating, that would service your highest good, or the people even around you. You want to be able to move and operate in that particular likeness. Let's just put it that way. Now, when it comes to movement, because this is a whole process. So now you done got in the water, you done sat there for 45 minutes, however long that process is that you decreeing and speaking over yourself. Because I can go long, I ain't gonna lie to you, I can go long. The water scalding hot, just like I'm cooking up a soup.
Yeah. Very calming. I get my best ideas in the water, man. Like, I mean, out of nowhere too. The best. Hell, I think if I'm not mistaken, this podcast came out of the shower. Like, seriously. Like,
nice.
Big mama was like, "It's time to go to work, boy. Get to work." I'm like, "I ain't ready. I don't care about being ready. Get you behind the work." I said, "I don't want no problems."
Okay, no problems. I don't want no problems. So this is the whole point. And of course, I just want the audience to know, the tribe to know. Listen, I'm just giving you an outline, and I'm throwing in the specific things for this particular moon. But we'll come back and we'll do, the new moon, that sort of thing. But it's really to get you on a different plane, because some of us have been taking spiritual baths, but we've just taken a spiritual bath, but we haven't added in the mudras. We hadn't added in the part of us doing that mirror work. And now the mirror work will show you, okay? That's a whole nother show, but the mirror work will show you something, okay? So just have you big boy or big girl panties ready, because you will get shown something.
Oh, yeah.
It's reflection. It's reflection, okay?
Yeah.
So when it comes to now, you've gotten out of the water, you pat yourself dry. If you are like me, the altar is still lit, honey. The altar's still lit up. My whole zone is just lit up. Okay. Anybody that's not supposed to be there, they not gonna want to be there anyway. Everything's lit up, right? And now you're just gonna crack the windows, allow the air, allow yourself to dry, pat dry, that sort of thing, or air dry. You have your altar, it's still going, the music is going. Now you can move into a movement, okay? And it can first start just very, you just go in, allow the self, you know what I mean? You really just need to allow yourself, however that flows out. Sometimes you may come out and you just like, okay, I'm air dry and just lay here right at my altar. Honey, do that. Take all of that. Take all your time you need. You need to create who you need to be, because you're the only one that can walk through your life purpose and path. Create your own identity in divine balance, honey, spiritually, physically, and spiritually. So after you've done that, you make a little movement, maybe put on your nice robe, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable, right? Now, movement can be dance. So you can go ahead and move and dance. The next one, it can be yoga. So I did put some yoga poses that I thought would really and know that are linked to these particular aspects of being able to open up your chest, because you do want to be able to open up your chest, because that helps you release whatever is stuck there, holding blockages, that sort of thing. So there's a few Orisha that you can put up there, and I can just tell them about them, or they can see them as I'm finishing. But when we talk about the yoga postures now, okay, so that's the goddess. Okay, so we want to sit in that goddess state. Now, sometimes, and it depends on you and how you feel, you can start to do your practice first. You can do your movement first. You can dance while the candles are going along. You want to do these particular movements. The next one, if you want, you can start there. So with us having the goddess, we also have the tree pose as well. We have the Sphinx. I think that's in there. No, that's the triangle. Well, that's fine. You can leave it. We have the triangle. And then we have one more. I think it's this.
I was taking lucky guesses. I guess I got a few. Maybe look. I was just listening to Hey, spirit was like, hey,
yes, this is a Kemetic pose as well. This one is Kemetic pose. Okay, so I put those up there because I've used them myself, and with most of the clients, just kind of like what movements help people relieve blockages. And settle within themselves. The Sphinx one, definitely. After you've moved that way, held those poses for a bit. Once you get to this one, you're gonna sit there. Oftentimes, it's not just called the Sphinx; it's also called the infant child pose. That sort of thing. But you rest, and this is where you would rest. So whether you start your practice, your ritual for this full moon coming in with just kind of doing the movements, whether it's dance or the yoga part, that's up to you. How you choose, how you feel it, okay? Because you're creating your own way of your own ritual for who you are, the altar. So with that, you want to make sure that you do the movement. And the reason I put it in this way, because it kind of ends up in a certain state. So after you've done your movement, that's the last particular movement, now you're refreshed, you're revived. Now you can get up, and now it's all about what you put in your belly. So how your nutrition looking? What does that nutrition look like? And some of us are not eating exactly the way we need to. So we want to make sure that we are putting in some light foods. Now, even before you do the ritual, and it depends on where you are, the level, because some of the ladies may already be doing their spiritual bath and they have a certain way to flow. Not that you couldn't create or try something new so you can expand greater. But try to eat light. Don't eat so heavy. Not when you're dealing with the spirit. I mean, come on. Atypically, when you're dealing with the spirit realm, you've done this whole process, like I've said before, you really don't want to eat heavy. You don't want to eat anything heavy because you're so high in the spirit. You're so high in the spirit. Your physical body is like, oh my God, what food? Where? So you want to be conscious of what you're eating. So whether it be plant-based, alkaline, keto, if you're Presbyterian, which is a whole bunch of fish, you you want to be mindful of what you're eating. You want to go ahead and speak over that, uh, your particular food, but speak over it in a different way. I always
Mm.
tell people, oftentimes, people say, "Oh, I gave so and so this," and I said, "Well, how did you give it to them?" And
Mm.
they immediately think, "Oh, well, I put it in a box and gave it to them like that." I said, "No, no, 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 no. Out of what heart, what placement, what state of mind, what
Mm.
what I mean, did you give it to them?"
Right.
For some people, okay, well, let me give this person that. Let's say monetary money. Oh, here, da, da, da. Or oh, here's the money. But in your heart, you really didn't want to give them that money, or
Mm.
or
Mm.
you kind of felt some kind of way, like, this don't. You have to give out of abundance.
Mm.
So if you're giving out of abundance, even if you don't have a problem giving people money or this or that, if you're giving out of abundance externally, you need to give into abundance internally.
Mm.
So remember that each one of this, and now I'm gonna go draw it back to women. Each one of these full moon cycles is a reflection of your divine self.
Mm.
You're constantly
Sure.
being you are constantly being displayed or shown who you are by just looking around you, as far as nature, and how it works, and how people even come into the world, how certain things, even though you may seem to think that you're being chastened individually. And I would say, oh, somebody would say, oh, well, you know what, you think you're all that or this, that, and the third. Just look outside, like truly look outside and see things spiritually, that this is the time and season that we live in, right? The physical. But we don't have to operate that way in our mental. We can hold and keep those things near to us by using all the tools that you may know yourself. Some of the stuff that I just mentioned, use all the tools. So when it's time for you to move in your position, standing on your square, being seated on your throne and ruling from your mind, when you birth something, you're going to birth it in time. You're going to birth it in time and not tangibly lose it. All right. And some people do go through that. And oftentimes, the more you increase, you will go through that. I know I went through it, where I birthed something and then I was like, wait a minute, I lost it. I lost it physically, but not spiritually. And once you realize that, you always return back to self. So those 13 moon cycles, your menstrual cycle, you always come back to yourself. So
Mm.
whatever you pour out that way is going to come back to you internally.
Right.
So you're the altar. Make this ritual time, this full moon time, about you, nurturing you, and what it is that you want to see your way through, because it's already shifted. And you just got to choose to believe it. You have shifted and do something about it. I say ashe to you, divines. I
Sure.
mean, seriously, I call them all divas, and people are like, divas. No, baby. See, they talking about the BB, the bad bit. I call y'all all divas. Okay,
Mm.
straight
I,
up.
I don't think there's a lot of them
Divine.
in these Ashe streets. I ain't saying it ain't none, but I think most of them are rocking what you're talking about, like with the diva and the goddess and the queens and all that. But I'm pretty sure it might be some of the BBs in the audience too. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But I say divas because you're divine individuals, victorious always,
Ashe.
if
I
you
like that.
believe it. You
Ashe.
got to receive that. I'm like, girl, you straight diva, honey. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about diva as a hustler. The problem is we know how to hustle. We
Oh
know how
yeah.
to birth. We know how to hustle. We know how to cook.
Yeah.
We know how
Yeah.
to have sex. We know how to do these things.
Hey,
And
start
now
start
we
it.
have to be honest with ourselves. How much has that paid off?
Mm,
How
that part.
often have we gone around this circle? And do
Yeah.
we want to keep going through this same loop? Sorry,
Ashe.
baby. Sorry.
Got
You've
to
been
get an
shifted.
ROI. Yeah.
You've been
Got to
shifted.
get an ROI on that investment, man. You got to get an ROI.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. That's real.
Please use your all. Take whatever that I have said that will help expand who you are in your divinity. Use it. Just keep trying it. Test it out. Move it. because you're in a new paradigm. You got to elevate. What I mentioned about the ancestral money, seriously, people that I've taught, okay, this is how you use it. And I'm like, well, now I'm doing it this way. And they're like, what? What? I'll give you this. And we'll probably talk about that some other time. But because my mother just ascended, on Mother's Day.
You about to know, yeah.
Spirit said to me, you know what? I think you need to, because we'll sew whatever it is she liked, my patience, all this other stuff. Spirit's like, no, what I need you to do now is I need you to actually sew and help heal whatever she took with her over there.
Gotcha. Yeah. I say. Oh, that's real. That's real.
I said, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about fire? I was like, what? Yeah. Because we'll say, our ancestors, but some of our ancestors,
yeah, everybody wasn't on the up and up, man.
Exactly.
Every family got some goons and some, you know what I'm saying? Like, some YN behavior or activity. And ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying, that's not connected to somebody that, because if you feel like you ain't got none in your family, you probably them. You might be them. That's real though, because I mean, at the end of the day, we all got somebody that's on the YN, bonnet behavior. That's real.
And so when I was enlightened with that, I was like a bomb. I was just like, oh, wow. But I had also posed the question from doing my rituals. I posed the question like, how much more can I expand in this? Couldn't I just think of that? And I don't know. I need you to sow a seed. I need you to sow a seed, like write that particular thing down that your mother was dealing with, that she be free and in her next realm of time and space. Right here. I need you to do that. Burn that. Yes. And I promised, my mother came to me like that.
Wow.
Ancestors all coming up out of a pool. I was just like, So that's breaking generational curses.
Yep. Facts.
In the next realm. Because we return, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, most of them we return. So when she come back, I don't want her to deal with that. So that's how you get to sow to yourself too. This realm of time and space, I'm talking about doing this, and this, and I'm cutting out this, and that. Earn that to yourself.
Yeah.
Just trust and believe that it's going to come back to you. You're just going to wake up with it. Oh, here it is. So the ancestor money, it's a whole nother.
Yeah, we'll do another. That's a whole nother pod. Matter of fact, we probably do that one. I don't know. We'll talk off air, but probably that sounds like it might be a good community, private community call. So that way, you know what I mean? We can like really give the drive. Yeah, because that's a dope one. We had one not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, I think. That was good too. But this was dope, and I look forward to the next one. And as you were saying that in the closing, when for those who have made it down through the first phase of the Yoruba or Orisha spiritual journey, like when you get to the point where you get your elekes, your sacred beads, that you wear.
Yes.
There's a part of that ritual or that ceremony that, you kind of got to cut the things away. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you come got to get cut away because now, you're taking, I call it like, it's the progenitor to the baptism, to being baptized. Like ours was the first one, but they stole it and kind of created their own, but whatever. It's neither here nor there. But that's like a baptism, a spiritual, African spirituality, type of baptism when you have that first ceremony and that you cut away a lot of things, going through that stage. So I think that was dope to close it out on that note, considering that's the whole purpose of us to share this information is for us to cut away the liability behavior and to start to invest more into the asset or, the positive, ROI, return on the investment in ourselves.
Exactly. So how you sewing into yourself is the biggest thing. Yeah. Okay, I know. And you use the collective conscious for that. You know what I mean? Use it for that. If people are using, they point in that direction, you already participate in certain things. Use it, expand in it, step through the door and expand in it. Now, of course, you're going to walk through, but you got to walk through. I mean, you're there. You might as well walk through, right?
Yeah.
So females, divine
Shout
feminine.
And shout out to Rich Homie Quan too for when we walk through, it feeling like the man we walk through.
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
It's so different for the man too. The man, honey, that's the sexiest thing on earth. You talking about a man that then grounds himself, know how to take care of himself, don't mind giving himself a bath. Don't play it. Don't play with it.
You got to do it, man. Look, what we say, we came in the world by ourselves, we're leaving by ourselves. So ain't nobody gonna take care of you like yourself. And you got a good spouse, they'll take care of you, but you still got to take care of yourself. Like, for real.
Yes.
That's just what it is. Yeah. So, man, with that, and real quick too, before we got out of here, I got to give a shout out to Orisha Stone. He's been on the show.
Beautiful.
Man, he blessed the channel with some pieces, man, and he's sponsoring the show. So I got to give him a huge shout out because as soon as this one got in, I put it on. I was like, yeah, that's mine right there. I'm not selling that.
That is beautiful. Now I love to have something like that with turquoise and amethyst, my colors.
Look, I have to see some pictures, man, because they got some dope pieces. So I want to give him a shout out. And I'll definitely, I'm not sure if he's online or not, but I'll definitely be chopping it up with him as well later. But shout out to Orisha Stone and the pieces, the custom pieces that they make. I'll be sharing their information as well, tribe. I appreciate y'all. So I got some pieces for sale. So I'll start posting them in the Patreon. And then also once we get back on YouTube, I'll post them as well for those who may be interested, in grabbing a custom piece from the good brothers, man. Because they're doing great work with their jewelry. And they all have powerful stones and crystals and some of it I don't even know what it is. I got my little crystal Bible here. Matter of fact, here's another one for y'all, tribe, if y'all interested in the
exactly.
If you
I got my little crystal Bible. Yes. Yeah, and you start to pick all those around you, and you're gonna pick them up. It's gonna call you. It's gonna call you.
Man, I got my little bowl here, and I'm like you. I got them everywhere. I got them. They all over the backdrop. They on the shelves. I got them everywhere, man. Because I know when I first started rocking with them, I felt a huge difference in regards to like neutralizing negative energy in my space. And once I saw how it worked, I'm like you. Like I got them in a bag, my business bag. When I go to meetings, I got them in my little pouch inside the bag. You know what I mean? So it's like I keep them everywhere because it really does shift, the energy, especially if it's negative energy. It shifts it. It kind of, for me personally, I feel like mine's kind of like create like a cloak to where, you know what I'm saying? I don't really feel like that negative energy can jump on me. Like kind of like when you have a pet that you give flea treatment to. So if a flea jumps on and bite them, they'll die because they got, they got the right prevention in them. So kind of, I feel like crystals do that for me. Like they kind of
almost definitely.
Yeah, foolishness, at bay for the most part. So
go put them along your back. I put mine along my spine and sit out in the sun. People thought I lost my mind. Sit out in the sun, lay out in the sun because you're laying out, and put them down your spine. And as you're doing the same thing we're talking about as far as breath work, inhale, exhale, allowing it in the energy, and you're out in the freaking nature. So crystals with nature, because even sitting them in, they come from the earth. It's like
minerals from earth,
I put them in my mint, the mint plants, and just watch it's beautiful. It's just we have to pick up the tools that are there in front of us to use them, so we can experience it ourselves.
That's facts. Ashe. Well, now listen, I appreciate you coming through again and dropping jewels and dimes and mic drops and all that, and then also the tools. You laid out a whole lot of tools, for us to work with. So I definitely appreciate that. And for those, tribe who's out there, y'all catch it on the replay or the upload. We definitely, we'll be doing this again. So please like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And y'all check out H.P.S's YouTube channel and socials as well. I'll post those in the show description.
Yes, because there is I think she sent you 3 videos. And so the ladies they'll see me doing other rituals for some of the classes that I've done. But it's along this particular thing. And it's about you dealing with the solar plex and the sacral chakra. And then the other one is just showing you different yoga moves, period. But yeah, I think ladies, if you watch it, you like it, whatever, just put a comment in there and say, okay, I'm at this point. I want to try that, that sort of thing. You start somewhere, baby. I guess. Start somewhere.
Yeah. Now I'm looking forward to it because I got you and a few other, several other powerful, healers, spiritual, just different people who are all in the wellness and spiritual, community that we're going to be doing some. We're lining up the days now to do private community calls where we really can go deep into, the practice of comedic yoga, or you know what I mean, meditation,
Yes,
ancestral shrines, rituals, protection offerings.
exactly.
Got a lot.
Okay, well, I'm pleased then I can help kick the door open. Well, I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna kick it down too. Yes, sir. Matter of fact, we're gonna run it over. Like, we ain't taking no shorts. Taking no shorts. That's real. But nah, I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure. Always great vibe, great energy with that. You know, that good emoja. Ashe up in these Ashe streets. So we appreciate you.
Continue expansion. Okay,
Absolutely.
seriously, divine protection, healing to the household. May you
Right.
expand greatly and impact everyone around you to do the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Ashe, beloved.
Ashe,
Give
Ashe,
thanks.
Ashe. Oh, I appreciate you. And so this has been another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Gbemi, and we out, family.
ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́ forsake not your ancestors and praise your.